Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Today I'm reaching you guys from Bayelsa State.
Good evening, sir.
And out on a business trip. So take the class from. I wasn't quite sure what internet will work, so I spent the last 1 hour testing all the networks. Looks like NTN is a bit stable. The others have been acting funny. Okay, so welcome. We'll do a quick throwback to our last lesson. I need at least 5 of us to come up with one key takeaway. First, I want to ask everyone in class to please come on screen. I won't get tired of asking you to do that because that's the rule of the class. Thank you. Prince, yeah, wearing singlets. That's not class clothing. So you can't put on your video without proper clothing. Yes. All right, thank you for coming. Okay, so who's gonna go first? Takeaways. What they have to say. That's why I want you to go through your notes and decide what you want to say. I pick 5 people that are going to speak. Not that when one person has spoken, you not say, hey, that reminds me, Seth. You now remember what you want to say. I want you to on your own. Bring it out. That's why you have your notebook there. So refer to it and let me have you indicate. Silas, Balarabe, Alfred. It's really the first time for Alfred. Alfred, have you introduced yourself in this class? MM, is this your first time as well? No, I don't think so. MM, you were here in first class.
No.
Yeah, you're here in first class. So let others please come on screen. Ifeoluwa, Emmanuel. Welcome. Okay, so how many more hands am I going to get for the takeaway from the last class?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, class. So one major thing that resonated with me in the last class was where you talked about us ensuring that we, like for every 5 years, we should acquire like a form of certificate. I never really thought about it. It was when I was going through my CV, I discovered that I hadn't even updated it in the last like 5, 7 years. And I was really like, wow. So like now I know like, okay, like I have to ensure that minimum 5 years, you need to like brush up yourself and improve on yourself. And also when you were talking about the competencies, one major aspect I think we have problem, like let me talk about my facilities in communication. Because sometimes even when you pass message across by mail, by WhatsApp, by calls, some of them will still say that, I did not get your message. Initially, I used to get angry, but like when I started attending this class, like you said, there is no excuse for anything. You just have to do your best to ensure that you pass your message across. So if it means like dropping a note, like we entering the camp, sometimes if we pass the message across by mail, you also do like a paper one for those ones who we know who will say they don't usually get the message. So as an FM, you should be able to deliver messages that, you know, you have the intended results, and also make sure that your clients you like try to get into their mind to understand what they want and then work towards ensuring that it is done.
Excellent. Excellent. That's fantastic. Well done. That's very good. Fellow.
Okay. So you said something about for every problem there should be a structured response in place, and you should always plan what you are going to do and do what you plan. Fine, there might be times where you might need to improvise, but when there's a structure in place, when there's a plan to follow, it is easier for you to solve that problem.
Excellent. You know, people that have the way things should go, they have less and less of the irregularities, all of those things that come to hit you. They are fewer and fewer. Once you start having an order in place, you have less and less of those things that you expect to come at you. Okay, so that's good. All right, Prince, take it away. You're muted. Prince, you're muted if you are speaking.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. In the last, what I took it home in the last lesson was that the FM skills and the competencies. Although we have, since the commencement of this class, we have been talking about communication. I learned about other things too, like strategic planning, leadership, sustainability. It is so broad. It's broad to the essence that at least at one point or another, one have to get him or herself upgraded so that all these skills will be part of somebody's daily activities. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, well done, and thank you for being here. Those who have, contributed their takeaways. I know that the others took things away, just that they are selfish. It is okay. we can live with that only for today. Hoping that next class you will not be this selfish to close your mouth and not share your takeaway. Franklin, have I inspired you? Do you want to share your takeaway now?
Yeah, I just really want to share something. That's been an interesting class. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Thank you. And it's a great opportunity to be here, a privilege rather, and I don't want to take that for granted. You've been awesome. A lot of things you've taught me. I just realized that FM is so broad, and one of the takeaways I took for yesterday, the other day class, that's Friday's class, was that an FM is a generalist. So you must just know a little of everything, and you should be able to coordinate everybody to ensure that the jobs are done done well, and to be able to achieve results. And so, you just need to know a little of every control, everybody, so that your job will be effective and efficient at the end of it.
Yes.
Another thing again, I think I took away yesterday was that you must document. If there's a fault, you come in contact with maybe a problem that actually came into place and you're able to solve it at that time. You must document what happened. How to solve it, so that when you come in case you come in contact with such problems again, it will be easier for you to overcome.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so get into today's lesson. I've shared my screen already. Today we're going to be looking whose hand is up? Fumi. All right, Fumi, are you coming on screen today? Good. Unmute.
So one of the things that I learned from the last class, it's strategic. I also reminded of the fact that is more of relationship management than any other skill. you know. So the relationship management and communication is very, very important because, and then you said something about being proactive about communication and not being responsive, you know, that's when there's pressure and all that. So if we can be proactive with our communication, it's going to make our job easier. So yeah, that was my major takeaway from last class.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That was good. Very good. Awesome. So strategic facility planning. In today's class, I want to just open our minds to some things that keep the facility manager down. You know, in our careers, we tend to stay at the shop floor, you know, at the basement. We tend to be very pedestrian in the way we attend to our organizations. For many of us, we are even absent. We are away from our organization. It's not as if we are part of it. We even describe the business that we are part of as they. They will not give us money to do this. They will be asking us too many things. We are always that removed from the core business. Because we have the dichotomy between the core business and the non-core business or the support function which we manage, we tend to not be involved. It's almost like it's not our business what happens in the core business. Let's just face the support that we are providing and provide as best a support as possible. That's all that our calling requires. But you see, that has proven over the years to be a very faulty logic, extremely faulty logic. Because you cannot serve a core business that you don't understand. In fact, most of the things you will be doing at your level in facility management will be solutions for problems that don't exist. You are solving the wrong problems because you don't understand the organization. You don't understand it deeply enough to know the problem you need to solve for it. So in today's class, I'm trying to take you away from that we versus them, get you involved, get you to start thinking about the organizations to serve at another level, with another paradigm, completely different from the we are here to help them. We are here to help them. I'm going to get you right into the business, understand the business, speak the language of the business, so that when you go out to create solutions to bring in, those solutions will resonate with the business. And when you bring solutions to the business will see the appropriateness of the resources and the finances you need, because you will be able to speak a language that connects what you are trying to do with what the organization is trying to achieve at every level. To do this, you have to move up that level of FM practice from the operational, where you are basically just focusing on, you know, operational plans, maintenance schedules, inventories, security bid plans, you know, stock management, work order management. That's at the shop floor, we're cleaning and maintaining. I'll move you up to the tactical. At the tactical, you are creating plans for space additions, new services. You're developing contracts. You're developing project plans and work breakdown structure for projects. You are coming up with scenario plans, you know, on how certain forecasts can be done. You know, if you want to project a certain quantity of material for ABC, how do you forecast it? Can you use the data of the past to forecast into the future? Your vendor management happens at the tactical level. All of those business cases to get approval for initiatives A, B, C, and so on, it all happens at the tactical level. But that is not where I want to get you to. You know, all that point where you're creating budgets on the rest, they're still in the middle. Where you'll be getting to today is the strategic level. You are going to get elevated to a point where you see yourself as a partner to your MD, to your CEO, to your high-level visionary in your organization. You see yourself as a partner. You see yourself as a strategic enabler. You will be able to understand the vision, understand the corporate corporate strategy, and all of the objectives that have been set at levels that are higher than you, above you. In many organizations that we say, because they probably are small, not too structured, these strategies, this vision may not even be documented. So you will not even have a playbook of this is the vision, this is the strategy of my organization. But I'm going to show you how to get right into it, because you need to get right into it. And then with that understanding, before you get to budget and at the tactical level, project plans and initiatives at the tactical level, let alone the operational things about how you do your schedule for maintenance and operations, you need to use the why the organization exists as a basis for creating long-term, long-range, high-level strategic plans for the FM department. So what are we talking about? You need to understand the organization, and then based on that organization, you need to create a long-term, high-level, big picture plan that includes that vision you have of where the organization should be with regard to the services and facilities you are providing to help it get to where it's going. So it's very important that we understand these aspects so that when we start doing facility management at the middle and bottom level, the why, the reasoning behind our organization's existence, what the organization is trying to achieve in its long-term vision and strategy will be with us, would have imbibed it. You will be seen more as someone whose judgments are in the best interests of the organization. And as such, there will be more trust, credibility, and release of resources, especially funding, to get you going. Okay, so we're going to just talk, about the facility planning, strategic facility planning, what it means. We'll talk about the understand phase, the plan stage, the execute, the act stage, monitor and control. We'll talk about the 4 stages. We'll talk about certain analysis that needs to take place as part of these stages of strategic facility planning. And then we'll now go into a little bit of the operational readiness program. Why is it important for facility managers? We have another class called the Design Build Commissioning class, where the operational readiness program will be, elucidated on. Use it here. So what is the strategic facility plan? A strategic facility plan is defined as a 2 to 5 year facilities plan encompassing an entire portfolio of owned and or leased space that sets the strategic facility goals based on the organization's strategic business objectives. The strategic facilities goals, in turn, determine short-term tactical plans, including prioritization of and funding for annual facility-related projects. So, let me just put it bluntly. if you've been practicing facility management for any length of time, years, and you've not been involved in any kind of strategy setting, developing a long-range, long-term, high-level plan for the organization that you said, then you know how to do what and how. So what happens at the tactical stage? You come up with budgets, you define all the schemes you want to implement, you seek approval, and you start executing. Then below what is the how, which happens at the operational stage. In how, you are now acting out the what. But those two are subordinated to the why. The why is the strategy. So if you have tactics, you're good at tactics, and you have operational systems in place, all good, but you need to understand why, the strategy. And why we say 2 to 5 year facilities plan is because this is a plan that is always being renewed on a yearly basis. It's always going to be reviewed on a yearly basis. So one component I normally would want to see in a strategic facility plan is a capital replacement plan, which captures all of your assets, roof, walls, furnishing, all types of furnishing, fittings in the building, equipment installed. You want to apply a useful life or a remaining useful life to each of them. And then based on that useful life, you want to determine the year they will be due for replacement. So that particular plan can even be up to 30 years or more, depending on the grade of the building you're managing. Some buildings have things that are installed that are 35, 40 years in useful life. For example, many of the air conditioning units you have in central, most of the central air conditioning units you have in most of the high rises, they have a minimum of 25 to 40 years in useful life already built into them, right? So what that means is, even though the entire unit can do more than 35 or 25 years, certain components within it, like a compressor, a certain valve, a certain capacitor, a certain electrical component, and so on and so forth, may have different useful life within that system of air conditioning. So you need to have a longer horizon, especially in that capital replacement plan. But we are looking at your entire portfolio when we're talking about strategic facility plan. If your organization has one site, one building, just a single spot of infrastructure in one place, your strategic facility plan is for the organization, not necessarily for that building. So if the organization has multiple buildings in multiple locations, in multiple geographical locations, and across cities or even across countries, you still develop a single strategic facility plan for the organization. All of the assets that the organization owns or leases all form parts of what goes into the strategic facility plan. And we're going to be spending some time today looking at, the various components, what we consider, what are the outputs from the process of creating a strategic facility plan. So the FM organization envisions its future by linking its purpose to the strategy of the overall organization, and then developing goals, objectives, and action plans to achieve that future. We no longer see ourselves as outsiders to the organization. We are part of the organization. And if we are part of the organization, what do we see ahead of the organization we are serving? Once you can see clearly ahead where it's going, you can now say, okay, I, as a partner in this relationship, must be able to create corresponding plans to support the organization. So this is what I call the big picture, is the strategic planning framework as defined by the International Facility Management Association. It starts with knowing the ultimate reason why your organization exists. That level where you analyze and understand the customers of your organization, why they are your customers, why they buy from the organization, what the organization does well to keep them, and so on and so forth. And how do the organization keep increasing the people in that demographic or customer segment? Whatever happens at that level is a strategic purpose of the organization. It is usually the owners, the founders, the drivers, the executive team that will come up with this strategic purpose level. The plans here, you are not there as an FM when these plans are being made. If an organization decides to make a certain type of sunglasses today, they have a group of people in mind that they say, if I found a need within this group of people, if I make a glass that a sunshade that looks like this and like that and like that, these people will buy it, let's say visually impaired, right? So they make that decision to go into production and make that particular glasses for the visually impaired, for example. If they are doing that and they are not involving you, it's fine, but you cannot start providing facility solution to that factory, to that office, to that whole process of delivering that product without understanding why we are even building the product in the first place. Who are these customers? What are the features? What are the characteristics of these customers? And why are they interested in this product? Why do they even buy the products that my company makes? I need to understand that. Once I understand that, at the second level of strategy, management also breaks that down to create the organization's corporate strategy. This is the level we call the strategic planning level. It is still held at the top management. Sometimes it's written down, sometimes it's not. But there will be certain decision patterns you would observe if you are observant, if you take notes about how things happen around your work environment. You will see certain clues, you will get certain clues from how decisions are made that will tell you the direction of the decision is going. In what kind of people it hires, how much it pays, where it tries to locate itself and its services, the price range it tries to sell, the advert communication, the cost it likes to pay and the cost it likes to evade or avoid, and so on and so forth. There are so many indicators. That's if your organization does not have a written down mission, vision, values, culture, and strategic objective. You need to know all of this for the organization. For many, it's been written down somewhere. I've even taught a whole team where their websites, the official website has all this information. The FM team were the only ones in the organization that had never gone there to read it. Talk about writing it down to hide it. So whether it's in websites, whether it's in annual report, annual audited accounts, whatever the organization publishes, you need to lay your hand on it and see if you can get a sense of what the organization is about. You cannot serve an organization you don't understand. So let's break down these components of the strategic planning level. This is still being done at the company's management, organization's management. You may not be there. If you have not proven yourself as very strategic in the past, if you've not handled very complex projects without complications, if you've not handled large budgets, the organization may not even bother to bring it in as a stakeholder at the strategic planning level. But my hope and prayer is that once we are done with this program, even while we are here, we begin to start reasoning strategically to the point where we are being invited to this table instead of being the menu. But let me start with the most important aspects of the strategic planning level. This is the vision of the organization. The vision answers the question why we are in existence. It paints a picture of where we would love to be at a certain point in time. Vision will always have that. We will be at this time. We will be ABC at that time. It has a way of, we're not there yet. I mean, if you have a vision and that vision has already been accomplished, please make a vision. That's no longer a vision. A vision is ahead of you. We want to be the most talked about manufacturer of snacks, the gala people, for example. I want to be the, just name it. Whatever your organization wants to achieve, it comes in at this level of the vision. Then, what then is your mission? Because there's this confusion between vision and mission. Where we say your vision is your destination. You can say your mission is how you get to your destination. So the vehicle that takes you to your destination is your mission. It describes how you will do things, what you would achieve at various milestones on your way to achieving your vision. That is what your mission is. So your mission will mostly be a statement of action, while your vision is a statement of aspiration. Your mission will be a statement of action. We want to be, we hope, we will be. Those are vision. We will do A, B, C. We will serve this way, that way, that way. We will act this way, that way, that way. Right? Those are mission statements. It tells what you want to be doing, how you want to be perceived on your way to your vision. Organizations will have this, whether written or unwritten. We need to understand it. Now to these twins of culture and value. Organizations will typically say, this is our value. We value customer service. It's a value. We serve our customers and we focus on them, with all intent to ensure that they are satisfied. Right? We respect our people. We don't abuse the communities that we serve. We show love. We are not arrogant. We are honest people. Integrity is almost in everybody's value nowadays, even though integrity is not. So I'll get to the other side of it. We write it down and say, we act, we do things this way. Right? So when you define your values, you cannot also define your culture, because it is how you live your values that is seen in culture. So culture is unwritten. Culture is not tangible. It is what people observe as the reality of how things are done within the organization. So that's why we're asking that FMs should learn this. Sometimes what is written in black and white is A, but what happens in real life is B. So as an FM, you have to understand A plus B before you decide how you're going to serve that organization. What was espoused in values and what is happening in the culture. Right? So they are like twins. Just the way vision and mission are also twins. The vision is the destination. The mission is the vehicle that takes you to that destination. The milestones, the actions, the steps along the way to get to it. Now, if I stretch the mission down a little bit, I'll get strategic objectives. Because the mission could be one statement that is a very big picture, you know, the specifics of what we will do, achieve along the way, more like the milestones within the mission will not be our strategic objectives. If we're achieving this, we are in direction, which is the mission, and we will reach our destination. So what are the 3, 5, 7, 10 items that as we are achieving them, we are moving in the direction? If we're not achieving them, we are not moving in direction, right? So you set strategic objectives that when you act on them and keep them out, you are actually leaving to your mission, because that's the destination. And when all your strategic objectives are achieved, you have arrived at where? Your vision. So that's how they all connect. The facility manager may not be involved unless you're already very strategic in placement within the organization in all of this. All right. So our job then is to fish out this information and imbibe them, because we are going to use them. At the third level of strategy, where we talk about the business unit strategic planning level, that is where the facility management as a business unit. So even if you're called a department, a division, or called any name in your organization today, see your department, division, or some set of your organization as a business. You have business units, the finance team, the operations team, production team, the marketing teams, IT, HR, and the rest. They support the organization. In fact, for many organizations, some of those teams are the core business that you are supporting. They all need to create strategic plans for their business units. You, as a facility manager, need to also create strategic plans for your own business units. But unlike the other business units, facility management is the only business unit that needs to have double alignment. Every other business unit will have to replicate their understanding of corporate strategy in creating their business unit strategic plans. The FM department will replicate the corporate strategy in creating its own business unit strategic plans, but will also need to align with the other business units. So there's a double alignment for you in FM. Because each of those business units are components of the main organization. They must all be served well for the organization to achieve its aims or goals. So I can't create a strategic facility plan for facility management that does not have the inputs of all the other business unit managers. So I need to create long-term plans. How do I get to know the long-term plans of the business units managers? How? Because if you continue to stay as an outsider, there's just no way you're going to get in to know what's going on. Just like HR, they are recruiting. There's ads out there People are applying. There are certain schedules already set up internally to have interviews and employ people and give them offers and get them to start. You know that sometimes the HR may not even bother to talk to you about it if you are too pedestrian in the way you do your job, not strategic. The HR will simply just read recruitment. When it gives them 2 weeks to resume or 1 week to resume at a certain time, that's when you get your memo. You need to provide all the necessary, seating arrangements, services to support so and so persons coming on board. And then you're like, boom, why is it just dropping on me? It's dropping on you because you have missed out on a critical task you're supposed to have done with HRO long ago. You're supposed to have gone to HRO with, I want to do A, B, C. I need your inputs. What does HRO need? You're supposed to have done that. This is what I'm thinking for this year. This is what I'm thinking for next year, and next 2 years, and the next 3 years, and the next 4 years. I also want you to give me your inputs. I need to know. If I have plans for you and I don't discuss it with you, first, I don't know whether my plans for you will meet your needs. Secondly, I don't even know whether you would accept the plans I have for you. And sometimes, when I'm trying to get resources, money to execute the plan, I may not be getting your support because you don't feel invested in my plan for you. So as facility managers, let's be the best friends of these departmental heads. Let's be the resource that they will go to for difficult challenges within their domains. Let's show that we are resourceful to the extent that we can bring solutions, not empty-handed, and then show that we respect them by having them flesh out those solutions by adding their own inputs. It is only when you have done that, you can now say, I have a strategic plan that is truly representative of the organization that I said. So even if you have a higher up who is talking directly to you as an FM and setting mandate, this must be done, that must be done, and you are solving all of this and you're building the plan, make sure that you reserve sufficient room to interact, interface, extract information, survey, observe, carry out programming for space analysis of all the various business units in your organization. Otherwise, the plan will be your own plan and yours alone. But you don't want to have a plan that's yours, because in the right way to do things, the FM is not supposed to even have a budget. Your budget is supposed to be a combination of performance drivers, people who deliver on the organization, what they need to deliver. So the salespeople, this is what I'm going to provide for them. The production people, this is what I'm going to provide for them. The accounting, the IT, so if I'm providing all of these things, these are direct inputs into the solution they provide to the organization. I should be able to speak that language, that connection with what each business unit is trying to achieve. So that when I want to present a solution that will enable them, achieve what they want to achieve, I also want to see myself as part of their success. While at the same time, presenting requests for funding that they will be happy to chip in and say, yes, boss, this is necessary. We saw that requirement. We endorsed it. In fact, it is we that gave the idea that this thing must be done. In fact, we want it done. You will see other people fighting to defend your own budget, because you carry them along. It's not enough that you have good intentions and you know what to do. It's not enough. At the strategic level, you must engage, continuously engage until you have extracted enough information. And when you finally create a plan, the section of the plan that refers to what you're going to do for each business unit needs to go back to them validation. It's when you have done that, you now say, you know, I want to put together my facility strategies. Now, facility strategies is made up of two documentation, two key outputs. The first one, which is the umbrella one, is called the strategic facility plan. That one is produced once for an organization, and it will analyze all building and space asset requirements for the organization, all the gap analysis, all the scenarios for developing new sites, expanding, contracting, policies around sustainability and energy and water use, policy around human impacts, you know, comfort, productivity, policy around, you know, human impact like health, policy around financial metrics, return on investment. If you're going to invest so and so amount buying a generator, you must have return on investment or internal rate of return of so and so rates. If you are going to use such money to do a recycling program, for example, or you're going to build a new head office, sell, renting or leasing, there will be criteria sets. There will be financial analysis that when you do them, you can decide whether to go on or not to go on. The strategic facility plan is like the Bible of the organization's real estate planning. It's mostly built with policies, procedures at a very high level, you know, big picture objectives and goals, and setting metrics to targets, like financial metrics, sustainability metrics, and so on and so forth. It will put all of those there. It will be like your guidebook for deciding on, should we rent? Should we buy? Should we lease? Should we relocate? And to which kind of area? What kind of investment can we make? How do we get our money? And how is that? How is the funds that we spend? How is it related to the revenue? Because if you keep spending and you don't have a control on how much you can spend relative to revenue, you may spend yourself out of business. They do all those controls inside the strategic facility plan. Then there's a facility master plan or real estate master plan. It is the same thing. So wherever you see facility master plan or real estate master plan, it is the same thing, right? And the key difference between the facility management strategic facility plan, that's the SFP, and the master plan is that the strategic facility plan is portfolio based. It looks at the entire organization and all its property, both now and in the future. Yeah, it decides in advance how decisions will be made regarding real estate acquisition and use and disposal. But the real estate master plan takes a particular site, a particular facility, and creates a plan for how it will start, grow, expand, finish, meet its needs, meet the needs of the stakeholder, get disposed of. So it's a long-term plan like the strategic facility plan, but it takes instructions from the strategic facility plan. So I can decide that I have a site in Ikoyi where I put our head office. But we want to create a regional office in Benin. The regional office in Benin has to be, it can't just be something that comes up because somebody just felt we have to have it in Benin, therefore go to Ring Road in Benin, negotiate on all the properties, buy the most expensive one and start building. No, that's not it. Once the analysis that leads to we need to have a regional office in Benin is done at the strategic planning level, that's usually done by the senior management. You now reference the strategic facility plan to say, when we are going to have a facility in this kind of area, what kind of guidelines do we already have in place? So that when I'm doing anything on the new projects, I'm guided by pre-approved policies and pre-approved metrics and guidelines. The management has already gone through, agreed with, signed up, and is there as our guidebook, as our Bible. Even if it's reviewed every year, some parts will change here and there, but that document will remain as our guidebook. So, how is this new site going to be developed? The sewage line in, the traffic in and traffic out, the parking layout, especially of number of visitors and building users, you know, the regulatory impact on that particular site, the zoning for that site. Can we affect the zoning after doing our best use analysis and so on and so forth? All of those questions come because we are dealing with one location. Okay, if that location is going to sit, you know, regional managers, blah, 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 of so many departments or units, compared to the location sitting junior staff or mid-level staff, the way I will respond to that development will already be guided in, you know, the strategic facility plan. So that's the key difference. They are both long-term plan. One is portfolio, one is site development phase plan. Okay. So you see, when we get to the tactical planning level, you see most of the things you do, it looks more familiar, isn't it? You can see operations plan, maintenance plan, the budgets, the design and construction plans. Most FMs barely arrive at this level in their career. You ask the FM, you know, what's your budget for blah, blah, blah. Budget. I don't know the budget, so now garden, I know the budget. That is not even strategic thinking yet. You are still not at a strategic level if you don't have a budget and you don't know how that budget was built. And you don't know what can affect the budget, you know, during the time of delivery. Design and construction plans, maintenance plans, operations plans. Because usually when you do strategic planning, it's either going to come up with new spaces, reduced spaces, new services, reduced services, change the structure of delivery of the services, and so on and so forth. There are so many things that are done at that level. I need to see if the class management are still course. Okay, so I see Daniel is still a course. I'm sure Daniel can make Barakat a co-host because she came out. Let's see, let me do that myself. Okay. So at the tactical level, you are doing things for 1 year. At the strategic level, you are doing things for, you know, big picture, long-term considerations. What then happens at the execution level? Level 5. This is where you actually put things in place. You read contracts, you do all those bidding, you get vendors in to get the job done, you get workers in to get the job. You plan their work, all of those things happen at the execution level. At the execution level, you need to have documentation of the reports of what is going on, who is doing what, as well as reports of outcomes. What are we achieving? What are we getting for the customers? And then, of course, we'll have to add all of those surveys to see the customers' feedback, which is, the real tests or the real results that we achieve as facility managers. From there, those reports are the ones we now use to, measure performance at the measurement level. So if you're working and you are not generating reports, when I say generating reports, these reports have to be relevant to the big picture while we are doing what we are doing. What's the reason for us to be doing what we're doing? If I'm generating reports, I want the report to be relevant to key performance indicators that I will share with management to show that FM is contributing. FM is actually strategically enabling the organization to succeed. Okay, so that's the measurement level. Make sure your reports are in place, make sure you can do the analysis. And then at the feedback level, which is the validate strategy, what you are doing with that information is you are looking back to say, are the strategies we have in place as FM meeting the needs of the organization? Because if you are going to tweak your strategy on a yearly basis, you need to have a basis for doing that. You need to have another reason why you are doing that change. And that reason will come out of the measure, performance, and validate strategy. And this can be at multiple levels within the big picture of the strategic overview model that I've been discussing about. Okay, so I'm going to give us a 5-minute break, and I'll be right back. We'll get into a breakdown of the processes for delivering a strategic facility plan. Can somebody please put on the group and the chat here, and also on the WhatsApp group that we're on break, so that those who are not paying attention, we know that nothing is wrong. All right, see you in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back. So let's look at the process. You start with the understanding. You understand the organization's mission, vision, values, and goals, financial performance, customer knowledge, internal business processes, and learning and growth. You use analytical techniques such as SWOT, SCAN, scenario planning, just to basically understand the organization. You're breaking it down as an organization, and then you plan, your own plan as an FM. You've generated a gap analysis at this point, and then you begin to act through your delivery process. So we'll take them. What does understanding require? The first thing you need to understand is what kind of facilities do we have? Type, locations, quantity, spaces that are in these facilities. And can you account for every space in your facility? Who uses each space? What value are we getting for the use of each space? Right? Who are the people that are using them? Senior management, junior staff, and for different purposes. And then your lease. Are we leasing or renting? What kind of facilities are we renting? Which ones do we own? The square footage, the staffing numbers, people that are in them now, how many of them, how many people will be in them in the future? Can you predict future headcounts? Some FMs will say, oh, I can't predict future headcounts. That's if you even know those who are already in the office or using the space right now. But you can use the headcounts of previous years as you maintain a database of number of people in your facilities to decide what the future holds. And then you have the simulation part. This is not a very common aspect for FMs. What simulation basically say is that you're supposed to just the way we do when we do risk planning, risk management plans, right? You have to say for organization, what are the likely scenarios? What are the changes, internal and external changes that affect the organization? These are the kind of things that you see people in senior management